I want my audience to get what I do. I want to make enough money to live off of my art. If this sounds like you and you are a creative entrepreneur, a writer, a drag artist, or performer, someone who wants to make money off their art, this is the mini training series for you because it's all about branding. First up, what is a brand and why do you need one? To another episode of BTV, the online space to creatively be free to be you and me. I'm super excited that you're here. This video series and training that I'm sharing with you was something that I did for my one-on-one clients, drag artists, writers, and other creatives who were looking to make money off their art. I created this as a challenge for them to help, a 5-day challenge actually, to help them hone in on and figure out what their brand is. To be a good business owner and creative entrepreneur, we really have to know who we are, what it is we're selling, and why we're selling it, and why we want to do it in the first place. And so in this training, I'm going to share with you in 5 videos how to get a good brand started and going. And in this first video, I am going to share with you how and what a brand is. Why do you need one? And just so you know, all these videos were pre-recorded. This was actually the videos that I sent out to my clients, so you are getting access to them for free because I really feel like this is something that as creative entrepreneurs we really miss doing, is branding ourselves and putting ourselves out there in a consistent way. And this video series is going to help you do that. And to kind of help guide you along the way, I'm also giving you the worksheets and the brand books that I gave to my clients. You can download that in the description and the link below. Each video comes with its own worksheet. Print them off, download it, write in it, and by the end of this 5 series, you are going to have an amazing brand workbook that talks about who you are and will help you move forward in building the brand for your art and business that you love. Without further ado, here is video 1. What is this brand gig and why do I need one? Enjoy. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to lesson 1 of branding for performers. Today we are going to be talking about what is this brand gig, what is this all about, and why we need one. And so just a quick little housekeeping notes. I do have animals, so you might hear my Shih Tzu, my dog, my lab mix, Zen, or Cayman. So just FYI, quite possible that you might hear them sometime in the midst of this lesson and conversation. So when we're talking about branding and what is a brand, specifically as it relates to creatives and performers, what we're really talking about is a bunch of different things, right? So for a writer like Tracy, who's in our group, they would call a brand a writer's platform. So same difference. It's just a writer's platform as opposed to a brand. Same thing. For, let's say, if someone was a fashion designer or a fashionista or wanted to start their own line, they would call their brand a label or a line. So same difference. It's still a brand. And of course, for us as performers and creatives, what we're doing is also the same thing in line as creating a writer's platform or creating our own label or creating our own line, is we're creating our own brand. The difference is that with us as performers and creatives, our brand is us and our brand is our art. And so especially for performers, this is extremely true for performers, our brand is what we put on stage every time we go and perform. So in that case, what a brand really is, it's all the things that make you, both on stage and off stage. It's not, your brand is not just about your performance persona, your costume, the words you write, the things you create. It's also about the lifestyle that you are presenting to your friends, your family, your audience. So it's more than just those sharp things that we can see, you know, your style, your image, your art, your performance, your costume, your hair, your makeup. It is all the things in the background as well that make you you. So the things that you read, the food you ingest, I mean, that's food is an energy in and of itself. um, what you do when nobody's looking. Are you a goofball? Are you a goober? I mean, I'm a total goober. The things that you love. Is it Lisa Frank? You can see my Lisa Frank pillow. So all these things that are happening behind the scenes are very much part of your brand, because your brand is you, right? And as a performer and a creative, we really need to start to understand that we are a business, right? So that's one of the reasons why we need a brand, is because we are a business. We are selling ourselves, and we're selling the brand of art that we are creating, whether that's performance, whether that's writing, whether that's a clothing design, whether that's a shoe design, whether it's a product, a t-shirt, makeup line, or we're selling our makeup gigs or nail gigs, whatever it is we're selling, it is still a part of our overall brand. And we are that business. We are the face of our business. We are the marketer of our business. We're everything. When you're a performer and you're a creative trying to make it in this world of art and making money off of living, you know, your art, you are everything. I mean, as a writer, I am a writer, I am an editor, I am a proofreader, I am my own web designer, I am my own, you know, copy editor. I am all these different things. And while you're all these different things, you still have to be all those different things in an in a way and an experience that is consistent, so that others, when you do go out there and present yourself on stage, or you do go out there and, you know, sign your author books, you know, at an author signing, or you do go out there and show your line, or you do go out there and show, you know, play your music, that you are giving your audience, whether they're online, in face to face in the audience, a mail list, or just every day to day, you want to give them the exact same experience all the time. And that's what having a brand is. And that's why it's so important to have a brand, is because you are basically creating a consistent experience for your audience, your fans, and the people who really love what you're doing and want to buy into what you're doing. So the good thing about all of this is, yes, I'm going to teach you, and I want to show you in these next 5 days how to build your brand and hone in your brand and figure out what your brand is. You already have a brand, right? Even without you knowing it, you have a brand, because you are already out there performing, you're out there writing, you're out there getting gigs, booking gigs, doing all the things that you're doing. You already have a brand. My goal, or our goal together, is to now take everything that you've been doing and you've been working on, and squeeze that into and tighten it up into something that's recognizable, that's memorable, and something that you are in control of. And that's the biggest thing, that if you get nothing else, excuse me, from this lesson, is that especially for performers and especially for creatives of any kind, it's extremely important that we control our brand. We control what it is people see, what people know about us, how we would like them, what we would like them to experience, and how we'd like them to respond. And what I mean by that is, it's easy, especially as a performer or a writer, or somebody who's bearing their soul on stage or on the page or in art, for people to look at what we do and go, oh, this person is blank, blank, and blank, right? So they come up with their own preconceived notions of who we are based on what our art is. So without us having a really solid brand and without people knowing what that brand is, all those conceptions, misconceptions, misnomers, all these things that we have no control over start to overpower and overshadow our art. So what we want to do and what I want to help you do, because it's so fucking important, is to make sure that whatever is getting out there in the universe about you and your art and who you are as a person and the kind of art that you make is much more vocal and searchable and easier to find than all of this stuff that isn't necessarily, I mean, it could be you, but it may not necessarily be you. Okay. So I want us and I want you to start understanding that you are in control of how people perceive you and the art that you're putting out there. So that's what this whole branding series is all about. And so let's talk a little bit about what a brand is in the sense of what we do as creatives. You know, we create art. So a brand and your brand is really consistent. It's a culmination of a bunch of things. It's the stories that you tell. So by stories, I mean, we're storytellers. End of story. As human beings, basic human beings, we're all storytellers, right? So as a creative, your brand is the stories that you tell. And the way in which you tell them through the medium of the art that you express. So you tell your stories through the art you create, the words that you write down, your song choices, and costumes that you choose to perform. These are all parts of your story. You're telling a piece of your story every time you go out on stage and perform to Sia, or I'm telling a piece of my story every time I go on stage and perform Cosmic Love by Florence and the Machine and lighting myself up. I'm telling a piece of my story every time I write something for BET or I share a story, you know, with a friend over cocktails at a bar. So we are storytellers by nature, but a big part of your brand are those stories that you tell. And so that's one part of what makes your brand you is the stories that you're telling um, on stage, off stage, on the page, and whatever it is you're creating. Another big part of what your brand is your energy, right? Your energy that you give off, the energy that you are attracting, and the energy that you are hoping people perceive from you. And so where does that energy come from? Well, that energy comes from who you are and yourself, right? So a big part of your brand is who you are as a person. What do you like? What's your point of view? What are your politics? I mean, all of the things that make up you are a big part of your brand. And what a lot of people fail to what a lot of people fail to realize is that you've got to include you in your brand, right? As a performer, you've got to include it because you are, especially performers, you are your vehicle, right? So you can't help but include who you are in your brand. And it makes you so much more relatable when you do, right? So you're not just like this walking robot piece of machinery, you know, that just shits out performances or words or writing. You are a living, breathing entity. So by putting you and infusing you into your brand, then that just makes you and what you're doing in your art that much more relatable. And so another piece of your brand is your personal style. And so that includes, you know, the costumes that you wear, the books that you read if you're a writer, or the costumes that you wear on stage. That personal style, your image, everything that you're constructing is also a part of your brand. And so basically what all this comes down to is the choices that you make. So your brand is conscious choices that you're making about the stories that you're telling, the kind of art that you want to create, the image that you're putting out, and who you are as a person. So in the show notes, you'll get kind of like a recap and a rundown of things that I discussed in this video. It's not a word for word, but it is a general recap of what we talked about and the points that I really want you to remember. For today's assignment, what I really want you to focus on is just collecting. I want you to collect your stories, to collect what other people have said about you or said that you remind them of. I want you to collect the things of that that perhaps could potentially show a pattern of who you are and what you've done and who the world perceives you as. So by collecting of stories, so you'll see your assignment. Oh, you can't see it. Okay, so in the show notes, you'll see your assignment, and I kind of break everything down. I give you two examples or two things for you to brainstorm around. The things that people have compared you to, the people, for instance, I use Lady Gaga. People compare me to Lady Gaga. And what kinds of things do you personally feel connected to in some way? And so my examples were Lisa Frank, Miss Piggy, Chartreuse Slicker. But what you're doing and what I really want you to focus on is just collecting these things that feel like you. So for instance, like I'm drinking just right now, I'm drinking my coffee out of a Chinese astrology cup mug. So I also love astrology. So like that would be one of the things that I would write down as something that I feel personally connected to is Western astrology and Chinese astrology. What you're doing right now is just cataloging everything. I don't want you to overthink it. I just really want you to start associating things that make you feel good, that make you feel like you, that people say you resemble, that sometimes when you're in their presence, like it makes them feel like what? Like sometimes when I'm around people, they're like, you make me feel so comfortable. You make me feel so at ease. You're so genuine. Like you make me feel like I can fucking do anything. Those are the kinds of things that I want you to collect. The stories that you've told yourself and the stories that you have heard others tell about you. So that's part one of your assignment. And it's a big one, and it's a lot, and I know it's a lot, but this is going to really help you with the next lesson and with everything in life and your brand, because it's going to evolve. And the second part of today's lesson or assignment is I really want you to start like a brand notebook, and it can be a physical notebook or it can be a Pinterest board, but this is just a place where when you see something and you go, oh my God, that looks like me, or if I was a color, I would be that color, or if I was a print, I would be that print, and so this is a way to kind of get a intuitive and metaphysical and visual sense of where you want your brand to go and what you want to build upon in the next 4 lessons. And so if you have questions on what a brand is or anything on this video, drop them in the comments below. I love helping my fellow creatives out. Don't forget to download your workbook in the description below. This is really going to help it gives a summary and then also gives you your work that you need to do in the next coming day to kind of keep this flow of building your brand going. And in next week's video, we are going to talk about finding your own brand of glam. And this is really where the rubber hits the road and where we start to dig a little deeper and find exactly what it is that we want our brand and our persona, whether it's drag, whether it's writing, whatever it is. This is where we start to solidify who it is and what we want to be in this new space that we are creating for yourself. If you know somebody who would enjoy this series, please share this video with them. I really want to help as many creative entrepreneurs get their brand on as I can. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video, especially in this series. These are all going to build upon each other, and so it is going to be extremely useful to do them in order. Until next week, I absolutely love you. Have a beautiful week. Bye.